Since 1985, Oxford Mining has been a leader in coal surface mining in Ohio. Oxford has grown dramatically over the years and is now the largest surface mining company in the state. Originally founded by three brothers, Chuck, Tom, and Mike Ungren, along with their father Carl, we now employ over 850 of the best men and women in our operations in northern Appalachia and the Illinois Basin. And in 2010, Oxford Resource Partners was listed as a public partnership on the New York Stock Exchange. As an industry leader in surface coal mining, Oxford is also an important link in helping to generate economical and clean-burning electric power through our utility partners in the Midwest. For the next few minutes, let's look at what's involved in the process of surface mining for coal. Oxford has mining operations in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky. Our largest active mines are in eastern Ohio. We also operate a processing and barge loading complex on the Ohio River at Bellaire. In western Kentucky, our presence is growing and is supported by a second dock on the Green River that flows into the Ohio River, where we serve additional power plants. In surface mining, rock and soil are removed to gain access to the coal seams. The coal is mined, and then we carefully restore the land to its original contour and use. Oxford also uses auger and high-wall mining equipment that allows us to extract the coal while minimizing the costly process of removing and restoring the entire overburden. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Before any coal is mined, there are extensive engineering studies and permitting that must be completed, with a time frame measured in years. At Oxford Mining, safety is always our top priority, and we've been widely recognized for our safety programs. As the process of mining begins, the coal has to be uncovered. First, the overburden is loosened, often through controlled blasting. Small holes are drilled and then explosives are loaded. The surrounding area is cleared and the rock is blasted free. Bulldozers and shovels are then used to remove the dirt and stone on top of the coal. Massive trucks, the size of small buildings, carry the earth away to be reused in the restoration once the coal is extracted. The coal seam itself can vary in thickness, averaging 1 to 5 feet. The thicker the seam, the more economical it is for the mining operation. Powerful shovels and front-end loaders then carefully remove the coal. As we mentioned earlier, several other techniques are sometimes used that can minimize the need to remove much of the overlying land. With a coal auger, large screw-type sections are driven into the seam horizontally by a rotating engine, extracting the coal as it moves forward. An even more sophisticated machine is the high-wall miner. This computer-controlled equipment carves large rectangular channels in the seam. These can be inserted nearly 1,000 feet from a small access area. They extract the coal and then move themselves sideways to repeat the process. Once mined, the raw coal is then loaded in trucks and taken to a processing area to be crushed to a smaller size. Where needed, some coal is also processed further to help meet environmental standards. The next step is to deliver the coal to the electric power plant by barge, train, or truck. As an example, let's look at how coal is loaded on barges. After the coal is processed, it makes the trip to the loading dock by 18-wheel trucks, carrying about 25 tons in each load. The coal is crushed once again and sorted into piles for blending, depending on its quality. The coal is moved to a conveyor system called a stacker and reclaimer, where it is automatically sampled for quality. It is then loaded into a waiting barge that has been moved into position by a tugboat. Each barge holds an average of 1,600 tons and takes nearly an hour to load. After all the barges are loaded, they're tightly lashed together to create a tow, and the tug pushes them up or down river to the power plant. Soon the coal will be generating electricity. But there's more to the mining process than simply uncovering the coal, extracting it, and then delivering it to the power plants. After the coal is mined, the land must be restored to its original contour. This process is called reclamation and can take several years to be fully completed. The topsoil that was originally removed to get to the coal is now returned and spread over the area. Bulldozers and scrapers carefully contour the land. The affected area of land must be replanted and restored to its original use. Once the topsoil is graded, it is then planted with various types of vegetation, depending on the local climate and farming practices. In many ways, surface mining restores idle land to productive uses. Oxford excels in this facet of mining. We are a leader in safety and reclamation, winning over 110 awards since the company began from a variety of public and private, state and federal groups. An example of Oxford's innovative approach to reclamation was undertaken recently with a tree planting process well beyond what was called for. More than 2,500 American chestnut seedlings were planted in cooperation with state and federal regulators and the American Chestnut Foundation. This is Oxford Resource Partners, an industry leader in coal production, a valuable employer with an uncompromised emphasis on miner safety, and a recognized leader in the reclamation process. At Oxford Resource Partners, reliability matters.